This video was delayed just because I really got caught up trying to research another video. That video ended up a wash. It just wasn't competitive enough. I did my best to make it competitive. It didn't work, but we're going to skip that. Moving on to a new battle. Quick preview, Gohan versus Superboy will happen soon. Anyways, this video is a follow-up to our What If Kratos Was in Marvel Comics, and this time it is What If Kratos Was in DC Comics. I've gone through and selected multiple scenarios and questions that you guys proposed. Of course, most of these will be coming from members of my community server, so if you want to join that, if you want information on that, let me know in the comment section, say you're interested, and I will reach out to you and we'll get that started. But anyways, these are the scenarios put forth for What If Kratos Was in DC Comics, and I hope you guys enjoy. Let's begin. Now, first off, first question put forth, what if Kratos was controlled by Darkseid? Now, this is interesting. So, Darkseid controlling Kratos, I wouldn't necessarily say changes much of the power. My only reason for saying that is first control story I think of is one I recently had read, which is Supergirl being controlled by him. I believe it was Batman Superman issue 13. So remember this is off the top of my head, so if I forget stuff, my bad. But anyways, when she was controlled, her powers weren't necessarily altered. She was still as strong as she was. She was just evil. So I think Kratos would still be the same power level, or roughly around the same power level. He's just under the control of Darkseid. And under that control, honestly, because of how dangerous Kratos is, how he fights, his style, he's literally trying to cut your head off all the time. They'd probably have to kill him. They'd have to put his ass down because he's crazy. So dealing with a bloodlusted Darkseid influence Kratos would for sure lead to dire consequences, which wouldn't favor Kratos, but it also would lead to some carnage on the hero side. So that's an excellent question. Next question, what if Kratos replaced Batman in Tower of Babel? So basically, what would Kratos do if he had to have a contingency for the Justice League? This one's a bit weird because I feel Kratos is experienced enough and confident enough that he would probably just say we're going to slug it out. Now, he would assemble all possible gear he would have. So imagine a composite Kratos basically fighting the Justice League. High-end Justice League still takes it way too fast. Way too high-end feats. On average, though, mad interesting. I think his would mostly revolve around stuff he knows. I don't think he would introduce anything brand new. He might try to acquire some gear in the DC universe. I think that changes that question completely. If he's already in the DC universe, he's getting lantern rings, probably trying to collect them. And I think he would just take the war to their doorstep. So that would be a lot more interesting. I think that a lot of that would just be raw power based and overwhelming them. Next up, would Kratos train or take anyone under his wing, or would someone follow him around? Kind of a reference to Atreus, but Atreus was his actual son. I don't see this being a thing. I honestly don't. I don't see Kratos willingly teaching anybody. I don't see that working out particularly well anyways. No, unless he had a kid of his own, I just don't see this really doing anything. Kratos, what would happen if he was thrown down with Diana and the Greek gods? He dies horribly. If you are keeping up with Wonder Woman in recent DC Comics or anything relatively new with Wonder Woman, she's gotten a crazy power amp. So current Wonder Woman stomps. Like God, Wonder Woman just bolos him. But there's too many. The scaling is not the same for DC Comics gods and Kratos mythology gods. So that beef would not go well for Kratos at all. He would probably get jumped. Now, let's say for a day that Kratos would team up with the Justice League to fight Darkseid and his army. How would it go? So, assuming this is, recent Kratos, this goes quite well because he's smarter. He's much more mature than he used to be. He's not going to make any wild, raging plays. It's more so going to be calculated, tactical plays on the battlefield. He's strong. The Leviathan axe is a great weapon, as well as he has the Blades of Chaos still. These things make him very dangerous. Just as a ground force, he's quite formidable. I think he would be used to fight the army itself. And unleashing Kratos on the parademons would be an amazing fight sequence. I think he would mostly be used to take out the army more so than Darkseid. Could Kratos, if he died, crawl out of DC Comics hell? No. DC Comics hell goes down past infinite layers. I believe they're called infinite layers of astral cytoplasm. Something crazy. It's really abstract, very layered. If he goes to the real hell, any of these higher end hells in DC Comics, there's no way Kratos is crawling out of that. That's not how that works in DC Comics. Phantom Zone, I don't even think he would escape. And that's not being nearly down bad as like going to the hell in DC Comics, in my opinion. So I don't see Kratos escaping any of the crazier realms in DC Comics. I think that would be a problem. Next up, what if Kratos had to adopt Billy Batson? This would make one of the most interesting storylines in comics if done right. Kratos is a great character, in my opinion, from the novel, in the newer game. As a father figure, him trying to figure out how to be a proper father while protecting his son was a fun journey. Seeing him deal with crazy Billy Batson, more mischievous. I loved the New 52 Jeff Johns interpretation of Billy. I think this would be really good. And seeing them work together, and the fact that, Shazam should be, especially higher end, way stronger than Kratos, it would be fascinating to see that written. I wouldn't mind doing that what if story. What if Shazam was the son of Kratos? That'd be really cool. Let me know if y'all want to see that. I might actually do a what if scenario with that. How would John Constantine react to Kratos? I don't think he gives a shit. Constantine is not the type of character to trip over you just because you look cool or you look impressive. He literally beefs with characters that can end creation. A guy with swords hanging off chains, really tall, looks like he hits the Bowflex, real mean looking, nice facial hair, all that stuff, right? Real bout it, boy, means nothing to Constantine. And if Kratos stepped to Constantine, he would get smoked immediately. So I don't think John Constantine would particularly worry about Kratos, and I don't foresee them having too many interactions. Batman's contingency for Kratos. I think he would find a way to separate Kratos from his weapons if Atreus is involved. I don't know if he'd get Atreus involved, but Kratos also does have a lot of mental scars, I'd say, emotional scars. I think Batman would capitalize on that, use some kind of mind hacks, mind probe, illusions, things of that nature. Similar approach to how he would take to Wonder Woman, because they're similar style fighters, brutal, old school warriors. I think with that in mind, he would approach it similar to Wonder Woman and attack that aspect of him, just make him mentally weak, make him mentally have to exert himself too much and exhaust him that way because he'll fight all day. So yeah, I think that's mostly how that would go. How would the League feel about Kratos if he told them what he did, which was killing gods, toppling Olympus, all that? I don't think Batman, I don't think he'd care. I don't think Cyborg would care. I don't think a few of them would care. Maybe Superman, because he's a Boy Scout, but that's not their business, dog. Real talk, that's not their business. They shouldn't worry too much about it. I think characters that would worry are gods in DC, because they don't know how strong the characters he killed were, so that could pose a problem. Some characters that might worry, if Batman did worry, he'd be worried about, okay, is Kratos bringing beef with him to our verse because he has so much beef from back home? So they might be a little skeptical about him, but I don't foresee it being too much of a problem for him. Now, how strong would a Red Lantern or Green Lantern Kratos be? And how would he operate in either corps? Great question. I don't think he'd work well in the Red Lantern Corps unless he's allowed to operate on his own, because him and Atrocitus would butt heads. I don't think he would listen to Atrocitus, so I don't see that working out. Um, as a Green Lantern, I eventually see him succumbing to rage and joining the Red Lantern, so I don't think he would stay as long as a Green Lantern. I think he would get, either kicked out or sent to the Red Lantern Corps because of his tendencies and his behavior once he's pressed too hard. Final question. Lobo hunts down Kratos. What happens? Easy. Lobo kills him. I don't think this should be controversial at all. Lobo's a lot faster, especially in Rebirth, and then recently I think I don't know if they touched on it in Infinite Frontier or whatever, but he was given his healing back and stuff like that. So he has all these hacks. He's just as dangerous as he was at his peak in his prime. So yeah, I think he would wash Kratos if they beefed. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you like these style videos where you guys get to get involved and hear my opinions on things, let me know. This was Kratos in DC. If you haven't seen Kratos in Marvel, go check that out. Anyways, it's been YFV, your favorite villain. By the way, before you go, second channel is coming soon because I'm facing 2 copyright strikes and I just want to be safe till May. So that channel will drop soon. I'll keep you updated. Anyway, it's been your boy YFV, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.